Hello, hello, hello. Hola, hola, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo estáis? ¿Todo bien? ¿Todo correcto? Y yo que me alegro. Vamos a darle una farmeadita entonces. cosa. Tengo 48 copias, hemos pasado todos los niveles. Jugando de puro vicio ahora. Steven Durango, Eduardo Linares Guzmán. Gracias por el follow. Bueno, Rex, esos 5 minutos tuyos hicieron 1 hora. Ah, mira, encontré un amigo tuyo.
Talk about boots on the ground. We had a lot of boots on the ground. But it was amazing. And think of it, nobody was killed. And on the other side, a lot of people were killed. Unfortunately, I say that, soldiers. Cubans, mostly Cubans, but many, many killed. And they knew we were coming, and they were protected, and our guys weren't. You know, our guys are jumping out of helicopters.
Ahora, con Delcy Rodríguez juramentada como presidenta encargada, mandataria encargada de Venezuela, el poder en ese país entra en una nueva fase de incertidumbre.
Detrás del cambio formal persisten las mismas estructuras que han controlado a Venezuela por años. Axel Bell analiza qué fuerzas mandan realmente y qué escenario podrían definirse en el corto plazo, Axel.
Arlena Yunieski, vamos a presentarles diferentes escenarios, lo bueno y lo malo, todo con ello con contexto para que usted pueda entender las complejidades de Venezuela.
Me llamo Douglas Faras.
Douglas Farah es el presidente de IBI Consultants, una consultoría de seguridad y crimen organizado en Latinoamérica. Entre 2012 hasta el 2022 trabajaron como asesores del Pentágono.
Creo que estamos en un momento de pausa, no de veremos. Nadie sabe lo que viene.
Pero Farah cree que es un error pensar que la nueva mandataria, Delcy Rodríguez, es la encargada real del poder en Venezuela. Él dice que todavía tenemos el régimen de Maduro sin Maduro.
Tenemos Diosdado Cabello, tenemos Padrino López, tenemos Jorge Rodríguez. Entonces, lo que tenemos son sectores de extracción de riqueza, donde el ejército, las Fuerzas Armadas y otras fuerzas de seguridad y represión han beneficiado muchísimo.
Y ahora el papel de la nueva mandataria va a ser asegurar que todas las facciones estén felices, y eso incluye a grupos como la guerrilla colombiana.
Yo creo que lo que vamos a ver en un futuro no muy lejano es la fragmentación del Estado venezolano, donde grupos como el Ejército de Liberación Nacional de Colombia van a tomar su lugar de riqueza y formar su propio mini Estado.
Otro escenario podría ser más positivo, en cual los grupos de poder decidan no enfrentarse contra los Estados Unidos.
La mejor opción sería reducir la capacidad económica y de represión poco a poco a estos grupos e ir instalando poco a poco un gobierno mucho más legítimo.
Y factores sociales como la escasez de alimentos y medicamentos son otra pieza clave de este rompecabezas que podría influir en el desarrollo de toda esta situación. El experto insiste que es necesario que se reduzca el poder dentro de todos estos grupos para que algo suceda. En resumen, Farah dice que pase lo que pase será un proceso muy largo. Yo soy Axel Vela, continúen con más.
One bag, infinite possibilities. Kate Spade.
Nicolas Maduro appeared in court in Manhattan with his legs shackled and he was handcuffed. When asked to confirm his name, he defiantly said he was still the president of Venezuela and he'd been kidnapped. It was an astonishing first court appearance for the former leader, the result of an extraordinary turn of events over the weekend that saw him charged with narco-terrorism, cocaine trafficking and firearms offences. At pretty much the same time as he pleaded not guilty, across town at the United Nations, an Emergency Security Council meeting debated whether he'd been lawfully deposed, seized and taken to New York. But tonight the White House was adamant it will not allow American security to be threatened by anyone, and its actions in toppling the head of another sovereign state were more than justified. We've got full coverage for you tonight with our top story from New York. Here's Sarah Smith.
Wearing handcuffs, dressed in prison clothes and surrounded by heavily armed guards, Nicolas Maduro began the journey from the prison in Brooklyn, where he's being held, to his first US court appearance. TV cameras followed every step of the elaborate security operation, the images illustrating the deposed president's humiliation. Maduro, seemingly walking with a limp, and his wife Celia Flores were then put on board a helicopter bound for Manhattan. After arriving at a waterfront heliport, they were escorted towards an armoured vehicle. Historic scenes, the Trump administration say, show a law enforcement action, while others see an illegal foreign military operation. Finally, the motorcade arrived at the courthouse around 7:40 in the morning. Outside, some demonstrators celebrated Maduro's capture. Others, angry about President Trump's claim that he will run Venezuela and control its oil. Maduro and his wife both pled not guilty to charges of narco-terrorism and drug trafficking. Ms. Flores had a bandage on her forehead and what looked like bruising on her face. Inside the courtroom, Nicolas Maduro was asked only to enter a plea. But speaking in Spanish, he insisted that he is still the president of his country, complained that he had been kidnapped by the United States, and described himself as a prisoner of war. Maduro was returned to prison after his brief court appearance. And this is just the start of a legal process that could last for years. Across town at the United Nations, an Emergency Security Council meeting discussed Venezuela. American allies made clear their reservations that the US has breached international law and may have set a dangerous precedent. Friends of the Maduro regime, like Russia and China, went even further.
We cannot allow the United States to proclaim itself as some kind of a supreme judge, which alone bears the right to invade any country, to label culprits, to hand down and to enforce punishments, irrespective of notions of international law.
We urge the US to heed the overwhelming voice of the international community, abide by international law and the purposes and principles of the UN Charter, and cease infringing upon the sovereignty and security of other countries.
President Trump's envoy to the UN said the US was entirely justified in its actions.
There is no war against Venezuela or its people. We are not occupying a country. This was a law enforcement operation in furtherance of lawful indictments that have existed for decades.
What if you can create your own website by saying, "This is what I want"? With Wix, you can.
So is Nicolas Maduro simply a wanted criminal who was legally arrested by the United States? Or an example of the lengths President Trump will go to assert his will in what he views as America's backyard? This image, posted online by the administration today, would seem to answer that question. This is our hemisphere, said the accompanying text, and President Trump will not allow our security to be threatened. That picture makes it abundantly clear that the capture of Nicolas Maduro is part of a wider, deliberate strategy in which Donald Trump is declaring that he believes he has the right to interfere and control what happens in Central and South America. And in fact, he published a national security strategy at the end of last year, which specifically said that America wants to re-establish its preeminence in the Western Hemisphere. So where might he take this next? I mean, Donald Trump already seems to have Colombia in its sights, from where a lot of cocaine makes its way into the United States, and he has said something needs to be done about the drugs that are pouring through Mexico and into America, and he has again repeated his desire to take over Greenland, which he says is necessary for the United States national security. So it's possible that this action in Venezuela may just be the start of a new Trump foreign policy doctrine.
All right, Sarah, thank you. Sarah Smith, our North America editor, there live in New York. Well, Venezuela officially has a new leader tonight. Nicolas Maduro's deputy, Delcy Rodriguez, has been formally sworn in as interim president. Crucially for her, she maintains support among the military, and she says she's open to dialogue and cooperation with Donald Trump. Despite the events of recent days, not much seems to have changed for ordinary Venezuelans, with life seemingly returning to normal. Ola Guerin has more from Cúcuta in Colombia on the border with Venezuela.
En el nombre de Dios Todopoderoso.
Delcy Rodriguez looking anxious, and little wonder, as she was sworn in today as Venezuela's interim leader. Her predecessor, Nicolas Maduro, was in leg irons. An embrace from his son, who said, "The country is in good hands, Dad." His father's regime was out in force today, but Donald Trump is breathing down her neck. And he's already shown how far he will go, with a strike on Saturday that is still reverberating around the world. Cuba says 32 of its citizens were killed. They were part of Maduro's security team. Residents in Caracas are still counting the cost. Whether they backed the president or hated him, this was a blow to sovereignty and national pride. Wilman Gonzalez claims a US missile hit this apartment block, killing his aunt. But his anger is directed at the current regime. This has to change, he says, because we can't take it anymore. The government can jail me if they want, but I'm talking about the reality in the country. We want a government for all Venezuelans, not just a few. But the authorities are maintaining their grip, and the security forces have been ordered to hunt for anyone who helped the US to attack. Maduro loyalists have been out on the streets in Caracas today, demanding his release. But even die-hard supporters must know there's no chance of that, and many are sounding defeated.
Honestly, I feel completely humiliated. It was so easy for them to take our president. I feel they violated international rights.
Just across the border in Colombia, uncertainty. Here too, the leftist president, Gustavo Petro, may be in Trump's sights. The country's military is on alert. So too, the whole region. Tonight we are in new terrain here at the border with Venezuela, across the region and beyond. What comes next? Many are holding their breath. And what becomes of the established international order which has endured for decades? Critics may say that President Donald Trump is now making up the rules as he goes along, but he has been clear about two things. He wants to determine the future of Venezuela, a sovereign state, and he wants to get his hands on its oil.
Ola, thank you for that. Ola Gearin there on the Colombia-Venezuelan border.
Accountants who lead don't waste time. They invest in the CMA. CMA, Confidence Certified.
Teammate, I need your support. Concentrate fire on the designated target.
Well, shares in US oil companies have gone up on the first day of trading since the US operation in Venezuela. Donald Trump has made it clear he wants America to take control of the country's oil industry, with the US long coveting Venezuela's vast reserves of heavy crude. Simon Jack is here with more on that. Simon.
Yes, some big moves today, Clive. US company Chevron, which still has operations in Venezuela, up 6%. Big winners also the companies that make the equipment and the services to get the stuff out of the ground. Halliburton up 10%. And little wonder, because on the face of it, Venezuela represents a huge untapped oil bonanza. It has 300 billion barrels of proven oil reserves. That's the most anywhere on Earth. Now, despite these resources, production has actually slumped due to lack of investment and sanctions. So today you can see here, Venezuela accounts for just 1% of global oil production, tiny compared to the likes of the US and Saudi Arabia. And the cost of extracting those untapped reserves will be tens, maybe hundreds of billions of dollars. Venezuelan oil is heavy grade, it's expensive to refine, and US companies
have been burned in the past with assets being confiscated in the past. So there will be no sudden flood of new oil, and you can see that here in the oil price, already close to the lowest levels we've seen since the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Now, more supply, of course, could push prices down further, and the price since the weekend has in fact barely moved. So this is why many are seeing this move as part potential windfall for the US and its companies, but also a move to prevent other countries like China getting their hands on these reserves and establishing an economic presence close to the US. Now, wherever oil comes out of the ground, money, politics, often conflict flows. But in the short term, at least, the potential opening up of Venezuela is unlikely to affect the supply or the price of oil and, of course, eventually petrol. Clive.
All right, Simon, thank you. Simon Jack, our business editor there. Well, here, the Prime Minister says it's up to the US to justify its seizure of the Venezuelan president, saying international law matters. In the Commons, the Foreign Secretary, Yvette Cooper, says she discussed the issue with America's top diplomat, the US Secretary of State, Marco Rubio. But some of Sir Keir Starmer's own MPs have said he should condemn Donald Trump's decision. Here's Chris Mason.
The Prime Minister in Reading this morning, hoping to talk up what he says the government's doing to bring down the cost of living. But the focus, inevitably, was on Venezuela.
We have long championed a peaceful transition to democracy because the president was illegitimate.
Is this peaceful?
Well, we need a peaceful transition to democracy.
You believe that President Trump has acted within international law?
Well, we do support the peaceful transition to democracy. That is a fundamental principle.
People might reasonably wonder what you actually think about what President Trump has decided to do here.
International law matters here, and that's why I say the framework must be international law. It is complicated, and the US will obviously have to justify the action it has taken.
This evening in the Commons, that equivocation seized on by many, but the Conservative leader was broadly supportive.
We should be clear-eyed. The United States is our closest security partner. We must work with them seriously, not snipe from the sidelines.
She added she did have concerns about the precedent recent days might set. Listen next to these opposition critiques.
We know what happens when an American president launches an illegal war under the pretext of an imminent threat. It's why we oppose the Iraq war and why we condemn Trump today.
Hard to find an occasion when a British Prime Minister has looked so irrelevant and spineless on an era-defining international issue as this one does on this occasion.
And on the Labour backbenches,
if it were Putin doing this, the Prime Minister would not be saying, oh, it's up to the Russians to decide whether or not this is legal. But this is exactly what the Prime Minister has said in relation to Trump's disgusting attack on Venezuela.
A number of MPs made the comparison with Russia invading Ukraine, which later the Foreign Secretary said she had to address.
I really would warn members against making equivalence here around what Putin has done in Ukraine, where thousands of children have been kidnapped, where they have invaded a country led by a democratically elected President Zelensky.
Finally, these perspectives from two Conservative veterans.
Isn't the world a better place with him before the courts in New York? And in this case, do not the ends justify the means?
Doesn't she agree it really would be stupid to slag off President Trump now when we want to have influence over what he does next?
면접 잘 봤어?
내 식구들 입에 밥을 넣어주기 위해 무슨 짓을 한다.
Buying a car is kind of a big deal. How do you know if it's the right car for you? Ooh, the most deal ratings and complete vehicle history from Car Gurus. That's how. Boom. Make your big deal the best deal at cargurus.com.
And that, in essence, is the government's strategic position here. Bite your tongue in public to keep that relationship with the White House going. Interestingly, though, a very different position, a much more definitive position from the Prime Minister on Greenland, that quasi-autonomous Danish territory that President Trump has designs on. The Prime Minister telling me today that only Greenland and Denmark should decide its future.
Okay, Chris, thank you. Chris Mason, our political editor at Westminster. We're going to take a step back now and take stock with Jeremy Bowen, who's with me. What do all the events of the last 2 or 3 days, what do they say about President Trump and America's attitude to how global affairs should be conducted?
Well, let's start, shall we, with that very interesting image that was posted by the State Department on their social media feeds about the Western Hemisphere. There you see it. This is our hemisphere, it says. The Western Hemisphere, in this picture of President Trump looking, you know, mean, moody and magnificent behind his chair there. The Trump worldview is now, I think, clearer than ever after what's been happening in the last few days. It is that big countries can impose their will as they deem necessary on smaller countries, seize troublesome leaders, seize natural resources if they need them, like Venezuelan oil, perhaps. And so this is for Trump, I think, if you like, a new imperial era, an era of spheres of influence where big countries, America has the Western Hemisphere. And now previous periods, the early part of the 20th century when there were spheres of influence, that wasn't stable. That didn't end well. So that's why people, I think, are very worried about these indications. And, you know, you look at, say, let's take an example, Venezuelan oil. By trying to get their hands on it, it's not simply to try to stop China getting its hands on it. It's also because they want to make the whole of the Western Hemisphere a hostile environment, not just for the Chinese, but for any potential enemies. Now, if the Chinese, the Russians, India, say, for example, accept that America has this great big sphere of influence, does that mean that Donald Trump might give them some latitude in their spheres to do what they want? He's already shown that he's sympathetic to the idea of the Russians taking over the Donbass in Ukraine. And what about Taiwan? China would, I think, willingly pull back in Latin America if Trump gave them a free hand there in Taiwan. And of course, there's Greenland. Now, if they do go somehow to annex Greenland, it would be a massive crisis in NATO. It might be the end of NATO. It would be certainly a massive crisis in the Western Alliance, or what's left of it. And one last thing, the wife of the sort of MAGA ideologue, the Deputy Chief of Staff in the White House, Stephen Miller, Katie Miller, she also posted something, a map of Greenland with stars and stripes and just the word soon.
All right. Jeremy, thank you. Jeremy Bowen, international editor there.
I lost $50,000 because I didn't buy a domain name. My advice, head to Wix and grab yours now. It's quick and it can make all the...
It's all about the oil, stupid. That's part of the headline of a new piece by our first guest, Mehdi Hassan, the founder of the online news site Zeteo. In the piece, Hassan details how President Trump's repeatedly admitted that gaining access to Venezuela's oil was a key reason why the U.S. attacked Venezuela Saturday and kidnapped President Nicolas Maduro and his wife, Celia Flores. On Monday, Maduro and his wife pleaded not guilty to federal charges in a New York courtroom. Venezuela has the world's largest oil reserves. This is part of what President Trump said on Saturday from Mar-a-Lago.
The oil companies are going to go in, they're going to spend money, we're going to take back the oil that, frankly, we should have taken back a long time ago.
On Sunday, Trump told reporters aboard Air Force One he'd briefed oil executives ahead of the attack on Venezuela, something he did not do for members of Congress.
Spoken with the oil companies about going into Venezuela?
I have.
Which ones? Have you received any commitments?
All of them, basically.
Any commitments from the oil companies?
We want to go in so badly.
Did you speak to them before the operation took place about Did you maybe tip them off about what was
Before
coming?
and after. And they want to go in, and they're going to do a great job for the people of Venezuela. And they're going to represent us well.
On Monday, oil company stocks surged in value. Paul Singer, a billionaire who's a top donor to President Trump, is set to profit immensely since his investment firm purchased Citgo, the U.S.-based subsidiary Venezuela state-owned oil company, for $5.9 billion. The Venezuelan government estimates Citgo's value at $18 billion. On Monday, the United Nations Security Council held an emergency meeting on the U.S. attack. Venezuela's ambassador to the UN, Samuel Moncada, said Venezuela's targeted due to oil and energy resources.
Venezuela es víctima de estos ataques por razón de sus riquezas naturales.
Venezuela is a victim of these attacks as a result of its natural wealth. Oil, energy, strategic resources, and the geopolitical position of our country have historically been factors of greed and external pressure. When the use of force is used to control resources, impose governments, or redesign states, we are faced with a logic that refers to the worst practices of colonialism and neo-colonialism. Accepting this logic implies opening the door to a profoundly unstable world, where countries with greater military capabilities can decide by force the political and economic destiny of other states.
Joining us now is Mehdi Hasan, editor-in-chief and CEO of Zeteo. Thanks so much for joining us again, Mehdi. Why don't you start off with the title of your piece? It's all about the oil, stupid. Or to be exact, yep, it's all about the oil. Talk about what happened, your response to the abduction of the Venezuelan president and his wife, the charging yesterday, what the Trump administration has said he is guilty of doing, actually didn't jive exactly with what he was charged with. But then what all this means as Trump talks about narco-trafficking, but also mentioned 25 times in his press conference afterwards, talked about the word oil.
Yeah, good morning, Amy. Thanks for having me. I wrote that piece on Saturday in a hurry at 7 a.m. when I woke up and saw the news that the US had attacked Venezuela. And I pulled together, it's a list of Trump comments, basically, from the past few months and years. I went back to 2019, and Andrew McCabe, who was FBI deputy director, he wrote in his memoir in 2019, The Threat. He quotes Donald Trump saying in government during his first term, the country we should be invading is Venezuela. They're right next door and they have all that oil. Trump was thinking about Venezuela's oil long ago, even during his period in the wilderness between 2020 and 2024. He did rallies where he spoke about, if I was still in charge, we would have Venezuela's oil. And of course, he spent much of December, just before the New Year's, talking about we want our oil rights back. Our oil was stolen from us. All BS, nonsense, lies. Said Venezuela took our oil, we want it back. They need to return it, he said. They took an oil tanker, he said, we're going to keep the oil. So I put that all together in a quick piece on Saturday, thinking people are going to attack me as they did in 2003, when people like you and me, Amy, were saying, it's about the oil. Iraq was about the oil. But in those days, the people in power pretended it wasn't, right? George Bush, Dick Cheney and others, they said it was WMDs. They said it was democracy. They said it was Al-Qaeda. They at least pretended that it wasn't about the oil. Trump, as you just pointed out, has spent the last 3 days non-stop telling us it's about the oil. So you have all these people on the right and in the center, saying the sophisticated analysis is it's not about the oil, that's a conspiracy theory. And then you have Donald Trump comes out, as usual, throws them all under the bus, says, no, it's about the oil. He just can't stop talking about the oil. Every time he's asked about anything, he says, well, let's talk about oil. And as you pointed out, oil company stocks are up. He gave oil companies a heads up that he didn't give members of Congress per the Constitution. If you go back to the election campaign, Amy, in Florida, at Mar-a-Lago, he hosted a bunch of oil company executives and said, give me $1 billion and I'll help you all out. He's helping them out. He's enjoying himself. This is what he likes. He's not actually done a full regime change. He's kept the Maduro government in place, Delcy Rodriguez, the vice president, in place, as long as she plays ball on the oil. He's made that very clear. So this was about oil. It was never about narco-terrorism or drugs. This is the same president who pardoned the former president of Honduras just a few weeks ago, who was convicted in an American court and imprisoned for bringing 400 tons of cocaine into the country. It's not about democracy. This is a president who loves dictators, his pals with Middle East and Asian and African dictators, loves Kim Jong-un. And this wasn't about, running a cartel. The indictment that said that Nicolas Maduro was the head of a cartel, the cartel of the Suns, as you pointed out earlier, De La Solis. It's a completely made-up cartel, as experts have said for years. I said it in my piece on Saturday, and now they've dropped it. Classic Trump administration. Whether it's someone that ICE is taking or some foreign leader that they've kidnapped, when they come in front of a judge, they always change their tune.
I want to go to Stephen Miller. He's got a number of titles, but mainly the Deputy Chief of Staff. This is what he said on CNN.
By definition, we are in charge because we have the United States military stationed outside the country. We set the terms and conditions. We have a complete embargo on all of their oil and their ability to do commerce. So for them to do commerce, they need our permission. For them to be able to run an economy, they need our permission. So the United States is in charge. The United States is running the country during this transition period.
So that's Stephen Miller. We are in charge, he said. Mehdi Hassan, your response.
And Donald Trump has said the same, right? On Air Force One on Sunday night. It was very interesting to see Trump's comments because, as usual, his people went out to do Operation Cleanup on the media. They tried to clean up his remarks from Saturday, where he said, we're going to run Venezuela. This is a famous anti-war, anti-regime change, anti-nation building, anti-neocon Republican president. And yet on Saturday, he says very quickly, we're going to run Venezuela. So on Sunday morning, all his people go out on the Sunday shows and say that's not what he meant. Marco Rubio does cleanup in aisle 11, goes on the Sunday morning shows and says what he meant was we're going to keep the blockade in place. And then he goes out on Air Force One on Sunday night and says, no, if I tell you who's in charge, it'll be controversial. They say, who? He goes, we're in charge. We're running it. And then you have Stephen Miller, who's also very blunt. I mean, he is the voice of Trump's id, making clear that might is right. The same people who told us for years that America needs to mind its own business, America needs to nation build at home, America needs to stop all these foreign wars, they're now loving this moment. They're very hyped up. They think they've got a big win. They've loved this kind of smooth, elite special forces moment where they pulled Maduro out without any American losses. It has shades of post-war Iraq, mission accomplished, the hubris of the George Bush administration and the neocons in the spring of 2003. It all looks fine in the short term. It's the long term and the medium term that's the problem. And they don't really have a plan for Venezuela. They don't really have a plan for any of these countries they're now threatening. Trump is threatening Cuba. He's threatening Colombia. He's threatening Iran. And of course, he's threatening Denmark by threatening to take Greenland. And Stephen Miller is now pushing this new line that might is right. We're not going to pretend that we care about international law or UN resolutions or national sovereignty. We're going to take what we want. And you're seeing that in the MAGA media universe too, Amy. You're seeing people like Matt Walsh, the far-right podcaster at the Daily Wire, who used to say, I'm a non-interventionist. We shouldn't go abroad. We should focus on America. Now he's saying, well, we should do whatever we want. We're a superpower. And third world countries just have to get on board. So that's an interesting development here in the MAGA movement, which claimed to be anti-war. And some of us, I'm sorry, Amy, just have to say this, some of us spent much of 2024 warning people on the left that Donald Trump is not anti-war, will not be a dove. He will actually be a belligerent hawk who starts new wars. He bombed 7 countries in 2024, 7 countries in the space of his first 12 months. And now he's threatening to bomb 4 more, one of whom is a European ally.
Can you talk about Trump's national security strategy, which was released last month, which states the U.S. will, quote, assert and enforce a Trump corollary to the Monroe Doctrine. And of course, Trump himself now is referring to the Monroe Doctrine.
Well, Donald Trump has the brain and comprehension and attention span of a toddler. And I say that in a very generous fashion. So when he hears new words, new terms, something that makes him sound good, he jumps on it. So of course, when right-wing media came up with this idea of the Monroe Doctrine, borrowing from the Monroe Doctrine, of course, Donald Trump couldn't tell you what the Monroe Doctrine was if his life depended on it. He loves this idea that he's now doing something new in American history. He's a president who's breaking new ground. And this new ground being, we're going to run the hemisphere. You saw the post that the State Department put out yesterday saying it's our hemisphere, which people pointed out is both performatively strong, like being the neighborhood bully, but also weak because you're basically saying, well, the rest of the world isn't ours, which is what previous American presidents suggested, that they were leader of the free world. Trump's basically saying, well, this is ours, and China, Russia can have their spheres of influence, and it is very 19th century-esque. Let's divide up the world between the powers. But on the national security strategy, obviously European governments were alarmed when they saw this national security strategy. It's very hard to describe. It's nuts in many ways. If you read it, it's written, it feels like parts of it are written by the Groypers, by the neo-Nazis around the Nick Fuentes types. It talks about the decline of Western civilization. It says Europe is being destroyed. It's committing suicide by allowing in non-white immigrants. It talks about, it treats the West and Europe as America's main enemy. Because we know how much Donald Trump actually likes Vladimir Putin. So it's a very bizarre document that is both hawkish and belligerent and isolationist and withdrawalist at the same time. It's classic Trump. He has no consistent views or principles. When people say, what is Trumpism? We need to find out this guiding ideology. Donald Trump is a collection of impulses. And that's why we're now seeing in the space of 72 hours, the same people who spent years telling us that regime change is bad, this is a different Republican Party, this is not the George W. Bush neocon party, suddenly they sound even more hawkish than Dick Cheney. Dick Cheney, as I said in my piece, whatever the opposite of rolling in your grave is, he's doing it right now. Because I don't remember George Bush and Dick Cheney threatening 4 countries at a single press conference, one of them being a European country. Trump is doing that. So this isn't about ideology. This isn't about some new doctrine. This is about might being right. This is about Trump's nativist impulses meeting his belligerent impulses. There was a cartoon that Pete Hegseth retweeted from the Trump War Room account over the weekend, which has Donald Trump standing astride Latin America with a stick in his hand. That is their approach to the world right now. Let's see how long it lasts.
And Iran, you have on Monday the Jerusalem Post reporting there are multiple indications the U.S. and Israel are looking into regime change options in Iran. Lindsey Graham was on Fox. He put on a hat that said, "Make Iran great again." Are you concerned about moving from Venezuela to Iran?
100%. And also Graham took a picture with that hat standing alongside Trump. And Donald Trump, of course, we were told would be the guy who doesn't want a new war in the Middle East. We were told he would do a deal with Iran and do deals with everyone in the region. And of course, he became the first American president to bomb Iran. He did what Obama and Bush and Biden did not do. He bombed Iran last year in violation of international law. He claimed it was to stop this quote-unquote 12-day war between Israel and Iran. But smarter analysts like Trine and others pointed out that this was unresolved, that 2026 would be a year where we would see military conflict again. If you had asked me prior to the New Year's what I was most worried about, I would have said Iran and Venezuela. And Venezuela's happened. Iran is next. In fact, the day before he bombed Venezuela, Amy, actually, let me get the timeline right. On Christmas Day, he bombs Nigeria. On Christmas Day. On New Year's Eve, at a party in Mar-a-Lago, he's asked, what's your New Year's resolution? He says, peace. Peace on earth. Then, on Friday, January 2nd, he posts, we're locked and loaded, ready to attack Iran. And then on Saturday, he attacks Venezuela. This is the most hawkish president of my lifetime at the moment, right now, as of right now. George Bush must be wondering what's going on in his house in Dallas, looking at what Trump's up to. So yes, I'm very worried about war with Iran. The Israelis and the Israeli press, as you mentioned, are loving this moment. They're seeing this as a moment. Remember, they're tying Venezuela to Iran. They're saying Venezuela supported Hezbollah, Iran supports Hezbollah. These regimes are all connected. It's kind of like a new axis of evil. So of course they're pushing for an attack on Iran. This is not just Netanyahu, by the way. I know we love in this country just to say Netanyahu. It's the entire Israeli political spectrum. Benny Gantz, an opposition leader, former general, openly called, I think yesterday or Sunday, for the Americans to take out the regime in Iran as well. And of course, this is what hubris does to you. Donald Trump will look at what happened in Venezuela and say, well, I did it so smoothly and bloodlessly. By the way, they killed Venezuelans, including Venezuelan civilians. But no Americans were lost. And I got praised by people in the media for my wonderful win. That's the kind of hubris that would allow someone like Trump to go, well, maybe we should do it in Iran. Maybe I should listen to Lindsey Graham and Benjamin Netanyahu and Marco Rubio and do it in Iran. Of course, Iran is a very different kettle of fish to Venezuela. That won't be a walk in the park, I can assure you.
Manny, when you talk about Nigeria, let's not forget it's the largest oil producer in Africa.
Completely coincidental, Amy. Completely coincidental.
And Iran, of course, overthrown in 1953 by the United States, the democratically elected leader. on behalf of BP. So oil all the way, not to mention Iraq in 2003 when you mentioned George W. Bush. I just wanted to go to Jeffrey Sachs, speaking at the UN Security Council yesterday, the director of the Center for Sustainable Development at Columbia University.
In the past month, President Trump has issued direct threats against 6 UN member states, including Colombia, Denmark, Iran, Mexico, Nigeria, and of course, Venezuela. Members of the Council are not called upon to judge Nicolas Maduro. They are not called upon to assess whether the recent U.S. attack and ongoing naval quarantine results in freedom or in subjugation. Members of the Council are called upon to defend international law, and specifically the UN Charter.
So that was Professor Jeffrey Sachs. Mehdi Hasan, in this last 30 seconds, supposedly on Thursday, there's going to be a vote and a debate in the U.S. Senate on the War Powers Act. Can you talk about the significance of this and where you see this all headed? President Maduro is expected to be back in court, I think it's March 17th.
Well, we don't know if he's going to actually win or lose. The Trump DOJ doesn't have a great record in prosecuting people. It will be hilarious if they lost and Maduro walked free. Let's see. Very quickly, the story of the Trump administration at home has been people rolling over for him. Big law, big universities, big tech, all of the banks, all rolling over him. Universities rolling over for Trump. And now the story on the international stage is the same. European allies cannot bring themselves to condemn what Trump did. The British government, embarrassingly, could not even say he shouldn't take Greenland. America's wrong to be threatening Greenland. Congress has abdicated its role on foreign policy, on war making. So at every stage, Donald Trump, luckiest man in the world, finds no opposition. I think this is all going to come bite everyone in their backsides very quickly. If he does take Greenland, the Europeans will feel very foolish for not standing together when he went after Venezuela.
Mehdi Hasan, award-winning journalist, editor-in-chief and CEO of Zateo. We'll link to your piece, Trump's Venezuela Attack. It's all about the oil, stupid. Thanks for watching Democracy Now! On YouTube. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to make sure you never miss a video. And for more of our audience-supported journalism, go to democracynow.org, where you can download our news app, sign up for our newsletter, subscribe to the daily podcast, and so much more. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org. I'm Amy Goodman. We turn now to look at how the U.S. attack on Venezuela has impacted Wall Street. On Monday, the Dow Jones Industrial Average rose nearly 600 points to a new all-time high. Shares in the oil giant Chevron jumped 5%. We're joined now by Wall Street Journal reporter David Uberti. Thanks so much for being with us. Thanks. Why don't we start off there? Talk about the significance of Chevron in Venezuela and President Trump saying he didn't consult Congress, but he did talk to corporate executives before and after the U.S. attack on Venezuela and the abduction of the president.
Right. Well, U.S. oil companies had a long history in Venezuela over the course of decades. ExxonMobil, ConocoPhillips, Chevron. A number of them left Venezuela in the mid-2000s after the government nationalized many assets in that sector. But Chevron has been the sole player to continue navigating this sort of political and economic environment in Venezuela since then. More recently, operating on a license agreement with the U.S. government to basically get around U.S. sanctions. Now, investors on Wall Street believe because of that imprint within Venezuela right now, Chevron is potentially best positioned to capitalize on any new opportunities to come within Venezuela. That said, it's an extremely long road to any of that happening. In addition to the geology that's at question with Venezuela, they have very large oil reserves. There's also the question of decrepit infrastructure in the country, which will take billions of dollars of investment in years of time, as well as the other above ground factors at play, which mean political and legal institutions in the country that have withered over the course of time, and that the Trump administration has really called into question going forward too.
And can you talk about Paul Singer, the billionaire supporter of President Trump, who bought Citgo, I think at $5.9 billion, now it's worth $18 billion?
Well, there's been investors across the map who have invested in various Venezuelan assets over the course of time, essentially playing the long game in the hope that something like this might happen and provide an opening for them to cash out those assets. Singer's invested in Citgo, which is the PDVSA, the state-run oil company in Venezuela. They own a downstream refining business and marketing business as well. It's been in forced sale proceedings for some time, and that might move forward in the months and years ahead.
You know, the world doesn't have much of an appetite for more oil. And some oil companies like Chevron are not sure about investing more in Venezuela. But in order to profit from this, since President Trump says the U.S. is controlling the oil supply in Venezuela, they have to push for more appetite for oil around the world.
The most important piece of information in the oil market is the price of oil. And yesterday, U.S. oil prices were something like $58 per barrel. Now, U.S. oil companies can make a profit at that prices. That said, Venezuelan oil trades at a discount for a bunch of nuanced reasons. But $58 a barrel is not sending a signal to companies in the U.S. and elsewhere, hey, why don't you spend billions of dollars to tap into unproven, decrepit reserves and infrastructure in a country that's unstable? So you saw there was an NBC interview last night that President Trump gave where he essentially suggested that the U.S. might actually subsidize some of these oil companies going back into Venezuela. The word he used, I believe, was reimbursement. That seems like a very difficult political move to make. But that said, I think oil companies might need some sort of incentive in addition to the political and legal stability that they're looking out for to make those big decisions.
Former Chevron executive Ali Mashiri is raising $2 billion for Venezuelan oil projects, telling the Financial Times, quote, I've had a dozen calls over the past 24 hours from potential investors. Interest in Venezuela has gone from 0 to 99%. Has your reporting shown this?
There will always be speculators who are ready to pull the trigger on big bets in very unproven environments. I'd be curious to check in with that investor in a year or 2 years' time to see if he's actually raised that money and see if they're ready to actually pull the trigger on an investment decision, given whatever the political situation is in Venezuela.
And I'd be curious to know how the Trump family plans to profit, but which that takes us to your overall look at the Trump family. You're reporting on the Trump's family finances. In the Wall Street Journal, you recently revealed that ventures launched since Trump's reelection have generated at least $4 billion in proceeds and paper wealth for the Trump family. That figure based on company statements and security filings. In addition, you've reported how one of the family businesses, Trump Media and Technology, recently announced a $6 billion merger with a firm aiming to build the world's first viable nuclear fusion plant to power AI projects and data centers. This merger, particularly interesting given it was announced shortly after Trump signed an executive order to bar states and local governments from enacting their own AI regulations. If you can start off, David, on this issue of the massive Trump wealth that has been accumulated just in this first year of President Trump.
Right. The $4 billion figure that you mentioned, that's in proceeds and also paper wealth that have been generated strictly by businesses that have been launched since he's been elected. It's potentially a conservative estimate. This is only what has been made public, either through securities filings or federal disclosures made by the president or the first family. These range from the traditional real estate, golf, hotels business, but increasingly veer into things like cryptocurrency, different types of merchandise. You mentioned the fusion deal as well. And what we see is that, you know, Trump was in some cases elected because he's a businessman. He can run the government like a business. The potential byproduct of that is if you have a president who doesn't divest from his assets as previous presidents have done, you have all of these different business interests in different areas in which the government regulates, which raises a lot of questions.
So talk about where the Trump investments are around the world.
They're totally global. The hotels, the real estate, the golf courses, they span everywhere from the United States to Ireland to Southeast Asia, South Asia, the Middle East as well. Cryptocurrency is by nature a global, type of industry, and that's where you see the real money making happening right now. We made this conservative investment not taking into account some of the meme coins the president and his family have generated. It's very difficult to track how much money or proceeds those types of things generate. generate. But it's truly a global operation at this point. And it's worth saying that the White House and the Trump organization, when we've corresponded with them, they say there is no conflict of interest. They've installed guardrails around all of this. But as our reporting shows, a lot of these assets lead back up into the Trump Revocable Trust, which is a trust in the vehicle that is ultimately controlled by Donald Trump Jr., and it benefits Donald Trump.
The biggest crypto venture is World Liberty Financial. Explain who owns it, what it is, and the countries it's working with.
World Liberty Financial was co-founded by Trump and his sons, as well as Steve Witkoff and his sons. It is owned basically 40% by entities linked to the Trump family, and through a complex ownership structure, various entities lead that investment back up into the Trump Revocable Trust. Now, World Liberty Financial issues its own governance tokens as well as stable coins, which are backed by U.S. Treasury bonds. And through both of those different offerings, they can get both trading fees as well as interest payments by their Treasury holdings as well. As some of my colleagues reported, different investors in cryptocurrency around the world have either put money into these stablecoin offerings. Those span Middle East and Asian investors.
Be more specific when you talk about Middle East and South Asia. What are the countries that are pouring billions into these Trump family businesses?
More specifically, the founder of, as my colleagues have reported, the founder of Binance, who was recently under federal investigation, he made an investment. He bought some of the stablecoins that World Liberty Financial offers, and that business deal was helped along in some instances by different Middle Eastern players as well. So this really spans different Gulf nations. These countries are very big into crypto. They are investing in this area in the hopes of diversifying their economies away from energy as well. And because the Trumps have become such a large player and they have many business and political collections, it's also almost natural in some senses that they would work together. And it just so happens that Donald Trump's the president as well.
And just so happens. So you've got the sons of Donald Trump. You've got the sons of the so-called peace envoy Witkoff, where you have them all traveling together. And as the envoys leave, you've got the sons there. What do they gain by their parents, either the president of the United States or his #1 representative in dealing with different countries, by being there in their wake? Have you been able to trace that?
I mean, it certainly hasn't hurt their prospects. I mean, we've spoken to people, bankers, investors, potential business partners in different industries. You know, they are attracted to the fact that the Trump family name carries a considerable amount of fame and power, and has for some time. As I said, the White House says there is no conflict of interest, but it raises a lot of questions over sort of like the indirect ways in which the sort of proximity to power may help along some of these deals and the valuations at which they're made.
Let's get into the AI data centers and what fuel them. Talk about the Trump company that will now deal with nuclear fusion, and the possibility of nuclear fusion powering. It requires massive energy, these data centers. And at the same time, President Trump issuing an executive order that would prevent states or local entities from regulating anything related to data centers.
Well, there's two things happening here. First and foremost, the Trump administration has been all in on AI data centers. They want to boost this as a new American industry, foment investment from the major players in Silicon Valley and elsewhere. They want to reduce as many regulations as possible, both to build data centers and to build the energy infrastructure, mostly natural gas infrastructure, as well as nuclear, but that is needed to power those data centers. So that's what's happening on one part of the industry side of things. At the same time, Trump Media, which is originally founded, as you know, as sort of a holding company for the Truth Social media platform, has really sort of traveled through the wilderness in terms of finding an actual business to become over the last several years or so. They were founded in 2021 when Donald Trump was very much in the outs with corporate America and Wall Street. And this business deal with TAE Technologies, which is quite an established player in the nascent nuclear fusion field, it kind of represents full circle happening for that Trump family business empire. This is an established firm. It's backed by Goldman Sachs and Chevron, coincidentally. The Charles Schwab family is involved. These are very mainstream financial people in the United States. So you really see the Trumps increasingly integrating their business empire within, you know, the quote-unquote real economy in the U.S. as well as mainstream finance.
But this is very serious. For people to understand, AI data centers require massive amounts of energy, sometimes equivalent to what you would power a whole small city. And if you're talking about nuclear fusion, some have said that this energy source is decades away from actually manifesting itself. But if he's also in charge of the regulation, or more importantly, the deregulation of it, who's going to be in control of this?
The company claims that it can reach operations by 2031, which would be light speed, as per what you said previously. This is commercially unproven technology. There is capital behind this company now to make this all happen, but that said, it's kind of a moonshot, which follows sort of a well-worn path. If you were sort of step back and look at the Trump interests, broadly speaking, they play in very speculative, highly risky corners of financial markets, and this is definitely one of those areas.
And the idea that the executive order says you cannot regulate AI data centers, I mean, a lot of the activism around the country now is around communities deeply concerned about these energy centers. President Trump is saying this would now be against the law.
Right, those community organizations in different places around the country, which I visited, they are anathema to this idea of building out data centers as quickly as possible. You add in the element of the administration being very antagonistic toward renewable energy, things like solar and wind power. Solar in particular is very proven and quite cheap in some circumstances, and instead being all in on fossil fuels, which are obviously more polluting in many circumstances, as well as this more unproven technology of nuclear, which the US has a very checkered history with.
We have to leave it there, but we're going to do part 2 after the show. David Uberte of the Wall Street Journal. I'm Amy Goodman. Thanks for watching Democracy Now! On YouTube. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to make sure you never miss a video. And for more of our audience-supported journalism, go to democracynow.org, where you can download our news app, sign up for our newsletter, subscribe to the daily podcast, and so much more.
Meet today's scammer.
Your mother, what are you trying to do? Yep. I'll put...
He's upset because I just spent hours slowly torturing him.
Do not try to use the Enter key from your keyboard.
Oh, you know I'm freaking hitting enter.
I have to tell my pastor I'm not going to be making this service. Is that okay?
You need beating now.
He's running the same old scam where he connects to my computer and tries to steal my money. But I'm going to make it so excruciating for him just to realize that he's not going to be scamming anyone. Or at least not for today.
Thank you for calling McAfee. How can I help you today?
Yes. Can I speak with the billing team? I have an order.
Okay. And what was the amount they will be charging you?
$459.63.
You don't worry. I will help you and I will guide you how you can.
Right now, the scammer is in the process of trying to connect to my virtual machine. I want to set the stage here because I'm playing a grandpa character, so I want to take things as slowly as possible, and that means I may not be as good at the computer, and if the scammer asks me to left click, for instance, I might right click. Or if he gives me a command, I might just not hear it because I'm hard of hearing. All this is by design, and it's meant to annoy the scammer.
In order to cancel it, you need to be in front of your any device.
I'm in front of my desktop.
Can you open the Google Chrome?
Yeah.
You need to type over there, H as in Harry.
Helpify?
Yeah.
Says something about joining with a code.
34804. Now click on arrow.
Do I right click or left click?
You click on arrow. Do you see the arrow pointing the right hand side? Sir?
Yes.
After the number, do you see the right?
Well, I'm clicking on it and it says open image in new tab, save image as, copy image.
No, you need to double click on that. You need to open double click on that.
With the right?
Yeah, yeah.
Right, I double clicked with the right, and the box just keeps, it says open image in new tab.
Look over there on the 3 dot, right hand side, on the top.
Right.
Do you see?
All right, it says safe browsing is off. New tab, downloads,
Yes,
bookmarks,
yes.
extensions,
Downloads.
delete
Click on
browsing data,
downloads. Wait.
zoom,
Wait.
100%,
Wait.
print,
Wait. Wait.
search this
Oh my
page
god.
with Google,
Oh
translate,
my god. Sir.
find and edit.
You can't hear me? You idiot.
I'm sorry?
I'm saying wait.
Okay.
You can't hear me, right?
Yeah, I can hear you good.
Okay. Do you see downloads?
I see safe browsing, new tab,
No.
new window,
You don't read me.
New
You don't read me.
incognito.
You don't read me. Click on download.
right or left click.
Okay, click on new tab. Click on new tab.
Tab, okay. Search Google
Yeah,
or type
you
the
t-
URL.
you type over
and then
there.
It says Chase, add
You
shortcut.
type over there. Listen to me,
Priceline.com.
idiot. You need to type over there on the address bar. www.anydex. हरामी है भाई, बहुत हरामी है रंडी वाला। उसको हम पूछा सिर्फ कहा देगा पूरा बोल रहा, सुन रही नहीं मेरा बात.
After messing around with this guy for a little bit, he's finally connected to my VM. It starts with me loading this refund form and filling it out, and of course, stumbling along the way.
Fill up the refund amount and all that, and at the bottom you can type the reason you want to cancel.
But then also going into my bank account where he can edit and make it look as if he's given me some crazy dollar amount that he really just wants to steal.
Now you need to log into your bank, and when you are on your account, you can let me know.
You'll hear a little bit about Helpify, and I was stumbling through that process at first, so he had to use another remote tool to connect into my computer. And then he's back at Helpify, which is really just Screen Connect client, and it allows these scammers to remotely control somebody's computer even when they're gone, and it's very quiet, so you don't even know that somebody's on your computer like with some of these other remote tools.
Now just hold on.
Do I have to put in a code? All right, let me click on that arrow. It says open
No,
a new
you don't
tab.
have to. Don't do anything.
Hold on,
Leave
it says
it as
open
it is.
image in new tab, save image as,
Stop it.
copy image,
Stop it. Stop
copy
it.
image address,
Stop it. I told you to stop that.
inspect.
You need to leave.
Okay, there's
You
a new
don't need
page
to
that
do
just came up.
anything. Oh my god. Just don't touch anything.
Now it says join session. Hold on, let me click it again.
Leave it. You don't have to click anywhere.
Hold on, let me. My page is
You
starting
don't
to get
have to
cluttered
do
up.
it.
What is create? If I could ask you, what is create QR code?
I will tell you. Just leave the control of your computer screen, I said. Now, do you see your bank account?
Yes.
Just click on the account where you want this money. Just click on that account.
Okay, it says open link in new tab, save link as, copy.
What do you see on the computer screen right
It
now?
says your system is updating, do not turn off.
We are going to transfer the refund in your checking account right now, okay?
Can I go grab a glass of water or something?
Yes, you can go ahead.
So for those of you that don't know, so essentially they're going to hide the screen so that they can edit the HTML on the bank and then say that they've given us too much money. The scammers are now going to load command prompt on the computer, and from there, they'll have me in this situation put in my information as well as the refund dollar amount. And that's the most important piece because that's where they will add additional zeros and say that they've given you all this money and you need to send it back. So this is like the heart of their scam. One of the rules that this guy puts in place is that I just can't hit enter after I input a piece of information. So of course, I'm going to hit enter as many times as possible and see how he reacts.
Can you tell me what do you see on your computer screen?
It says C Windows System
Do you
32 CMDEXE.
You are connected to McAfee banking server right now. This is a banking portal.
Well, I don't
From
want to be
there
on your banking account. I don't want to be on that.
If you let me finish, then you will understand what I'm telling you. Please do not interrupt. This is a banking portal. Do not try to make any mistake or do not try to use the backspace or the enter key from your keyboard. Just put your full name and leave it as it is, okay? Do not click anything else.
Oh, you know I'm freaking hitting enter.
Type your full name.
Okay, it says full is not recognized as an internal or external command.
Right. I told you not to press enter, just to press your name, right? Just put the zip code.
Okay, it says zip code is not recognized as an internal or external command.
First, you need to put 200. 200. First refund amount is 200.
Well, I can't even type on my screen.
Try to type now.
Refund amount is not recognized as an internal or external command.
Your refund amount hasn't been recognized because you didn't do it at the right time.
Now my screen is gone. It says your system is updating.
Try to put the refund amount $200 once more and do not press enter, okay?
Okay. Now what?
It says your refund amount is not recognized. I told you not to press enter. Why are you pressing enter from your keyboard?
Well, I'm
you have to do it again.
I'm inputting the thing.
Just put the amount. Do not press enter or anything like that, okay? Put the refund amount.
Oh, somebody hit enter. It says refund is not recognized as an internal or external command. The thing spelled amount incorrectly.
Just put the numbers. That's it. 200 and leave your computer after that.
So
leave your mouse, leave your control.
But why? But it won't be put in then. It won't be entered in.
It will. Just type 200. Just type.
Okay.
Just type 200 and leave it. And leave your mouse.
Okay, I've left it. I'm not hitting anything else.
You just pressed enter. Why are you so illiterate? Why are you acting dumb? Did you put 20,000?
Did I put 20,000? No.
Yeah, it says 20,000. Do
Someone's
you see it says
typing money
20,000?
sent on my screen.
Yes, and above that, do you see a refund amount 20,000? Do you see?
Yeah, but it says refund is not recognized as an internal or external command. 20,000. Someone's typing 20,000 has been successfully sent. What is credited?
Can you just take a look on the available balance on your checking account?
Wait, why does it say 20,000 in my checking?
Because you make the mistake so many times by putting the amount and the wrong amount. At the last time when you put 20,000, that 20,000 was credited into your account.
Is this going to affect my credit score?
It's going to affect your life, my friend. Do you see the 20,000 is taken out?
It says Skynet Fund 0. Wait, what?
One of the scare tactics that these scammers will use is they can edit your bank account. So I've annoyed this guy so much, and when he doesn't think that he's getting the money, he actually puts zeros for all my accounts and holds my account hostage. I want you to realize how cruel this is. They do this to actual victims every single day, and it's really sickening.
That is what you were trying to take it very lightly, right? When the 20,000 was gone from our account, you were trying to laugh and joke around with me.
Why is my credit card at 0?
I don't know about your credit card. That was 0 from before.
Okay. I guess I did a payment or something. I don't know, but okay. Well, what am I going to do if my account is at 0 forever? I can't.
You can't do anything. I'll have all your money. So I'm going to put everything back.
How is that fair? You have all my money? How is that legal?
You had 20,000 from us, right?
You're the one that did the credit into my account. I did not do that credit.
I'm going to put the money back right now. I'm going to put all the money back.
Am I getting confused? I'm starting to get confused about what's even happening. Because I went from I had 20-something thousand in my credit, and then I had 0. My credit card is paid off, and then now you're saying that you have my money.
Back.
I'm just...
Hey, just quiet.
Okay.
Let me do my work. You're talking too much.
The scammers obviously said some ridiculous and off-the-wall things that are pretty funny, but I still need to take them seriously. I've messed with thousands of scammers, and I want to give a huge shout out to NordVPN for working with me all these years and sponsoring me in this video. I use NordVPN anytime I call scammers. It's super easy to use with a single click of a button. I'm connected immediately to their servers. My internet traffic is encrypted and my IP address is hidden. It doesn't matter if I'm on my phone, my VMs, my host, or even a smart TV. NordVPN is on every major platform to protect you. Their servers are super quick that you won't even realize that you're using a VPN. And this is important to me because I deal with scammers overseas, and there can be latency issues a lot of times. On top of the VPN, one of the things we use here in the office is their meshnet functionality, and that allows us to send files around the world easily and securely. Go to nordvpn.com/Pierogi for an exclusive 4-month free offer you won't find anywhere else. You can start getting protected today, risk-free, and if you don't like the product, you can always get your money back after 30 days. Over at nordvpn.com/Pierogi. Now let's get back into the video. It's time for the scammer to cash in, and he wants me to go to the bank and get my money out and then send it to him via crypto. This is a growing trend that we're seeing. The scammers are moving away from, wire transfers, gift cards, or even the Havala parcels because we put a big dent in those schemes. But they're having their victims take their cash out, go to these Bitcoin ATMs a lot of times in liquor stores or gas stations, just like you saw in the Barb video, and then they're sending this money directly to the scammers through crypto. Now what that does for the scammer is it cuts out the middleman, and then also it hides them and protects them from law enforcement and other people that might be snooping around.
I put all the money back, can you see?
Yeah, it looks like it's back.
Now just tell me, how long will it take you to drive to your bank?
Maybe 10 minutes.
So I will tell you what you need to do.
I can't go to the bank today. I'm supposed to be, I have church today.
No, you have to go to your bank and you need to withdraw 19,500 in cash.
I'm sorry?
Get yourself ready fast to go to the bank.
Go to the bank?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna go to the bank. I'm going to miss my church service though. Can you pray for me?
You need to pray for yourself.
Should I call you when I'm at the bank? I have to call my pastor first.
No.
I have to tell my pastor I'm not going to be making this service. Is that okay? It's a healing service.
You don't need healing. You need beating now. You're wasting my time. If you waste my time, I'll empty your bank account. Your account will be zero. You want to see that?
I'm sorry?
Arey bulga beta. You want me to take out all the money from the account?
No, I don't want that.
Get ready fast.
Yeah, I'm ready now. I just have to go into the car to the bank, but I'm ready.
Sit in your car and let me know. I'm on the line, okay?
Okay. Can I at least stop by church just even 5 minutes or no?
Oh my God. Sit in your car fast. Yeah, go inside your bank and withdraw 19,500 in cash, okay?
Hello?
Yes, where are you?
I'm sitting here waiting for them.
You were in the bank?
Yeah, I went to the front of the bank. I had to sign an affidavit. Is that okay?
What?
I had to sign an affidavit. They said that this was all the money in my account.
Just sign whatever you have to sign. Get the 19,500 in cash.
Okay, all right. Let me call you right back.
No, I'm on the line. Don't hang up.
I'm on the line. Don't hang up.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm looking for James.
Yes, this is James.
Hi, this is Brian Stevenson. Do you remember me?
I remember you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. They had me sign things because they told me it was taking all the money out of my account, and I had to tell them that there was an overcharge and stuff like that. So.
Okay, you got the cash?
I just told you, yeah. I'm asking. You told me to call you. This is quite a substantial amount of money. So.
Yeah. So I just want to be sure you got the cash.
The banker thanked me for all the years I've been a customer, and they said, please come back to bank with us someday. They were almost acting as if I was closing my account.
Okay, so can you just send me a picture of the cash?
I could go to my house and get my camera.
You can just send me a picture from your cell phone. I will tell you how, okay? Did you receive a text message saying, hi, this is James?
Hi, this is James. Who is that?
Who is that? You don't know? You are talking to me. That is my personal number.
Somebody sent me I just got a I just got a text from somebody that it's not the number I'm on with you.
Right, that is my personal number. I sent you a message. You need to send me a picture.
Send me a personal? Why would you?
That is also the company's number, sir. Look at the bottom. Do you see there is a sign of a camera?
No, I don't have a camera on this phone.
My God. Okay. What kind of phone you are using?
Nokia 5210.
Come home. I'll tell you what you need to do when you come home, okay? Just come home.
Well, this is quite a lot of cash to be holding on to at my house. I wouldn't want somebody to follow me home and break in or something.
You don't have to be worried about that. Just come home.
Okay.
And you think that I'm that stupid that you are saying and I'll believe you, right?
I'm sorry?
Just drive home. Just drive home. Come home. I'm waiting. So how will you send me the picture? You don't have a smartphone?
I can take a photo on my DSLR, but I have to go back to FedEx and then I can get it printed off, I guess.
Do you know on your keypad on your phone? Do you have a camera on your phone?
I've told you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, I don't have a camera on my phone.
Okay, can you tell me, do you know any Bitcoin deposit machine nearby your house?
What is that?
It is like a ATM machine. ATM.
ATM? I just went to the bank.
Let me show you on your computer.
Okay, it says system is updating.
Can you confirm me your zip code?
My zip is 92129.
So can you just tell me, you know the Circle K? Do you see the Circle K?
What is Bitcoin Depot?
Just read this address. Do you see 13007? You need to drive with the cash to this place.
Okay, but can't I just mail it to you or something?
No, you can't just mail it to me.
I've done it before.
Maybe you done it before, but we don't do it, okay? Please, let's start driving to this place.
Okay, well, let me go grab my map.
I think you're just playing around with me, so please check it out and let me know when you're ready to go.
I found you? No, I've been on the phone with you. What do you mean I found you?
Oh my God. Stop it. Go look at your map and let me know when you're ready to leave. Stop that. Stop wasting my time. Stop talking all that shit on the phone. Get yourself ready, please.
I'm sorry?
Not Laura. Get yourself ready.
Yeah, I am ready. What were you saying before that?
Well, go look at your map and let me know
I
when
have my
you're ready
maps
to leave.
downstairs. That's what I was saying, yeah.
Go. Come on, move it.
Okay. I think you're saying go?
Yeah, go.
Okay, hold on.
Oh my gosh. Go! That's a good idea, Barb. Barb says tell him you're looking for the word Bitcoin on your map, but it's not there. At this point, it really doesn't matter if I'm at the bank, if I'm sending crypto. This guy's worn out. I want you to remember he's 10 and a half hours ahead of me in India. So it's like 3, 4 in the morning for him. So he's super tired. He's probably super hungry. He's been very annoyed with me the entire time. And he probably knows he's not getting any money now. So on top of that, I'm going to kind of dig in a little bit more and let him know I know where he's from by saying a landmark in Kolkata, India, where this guy lives. And one last thing I want to let you know is that I actually had to mute a lot of things because this guy's very vile. So literally, if I beeped it out, it would sound like this for like seconds. So I actually had to mute what he was saying because it was disgusting and I wanted to protect the audience.
James?
Yes?
I'm looking on my map here for the word Bitcoin Depot, but I'm not seeing it on the map. Hold on.
Circle K.
Oh, okay. I thought it was Bitcoin. Is this a different place? Is this a Circle K ATM?
Either you are stupid or you are acting too smart. Okay? You have to go to a Circle K if you're living in that location.
Thank you.
Shut up. Shut your mouth and listen. Stop acting like a fool and get yourself going to this Circle K. Okay?
Okay, I have to go on 56, and I have to go past Rancho Pensacritos, Highway 5. Okay, Park Street. Okay, it looks like it might be near Park Street. I know where Park Street is. Is this one that's near the mall? Does it say?
What mall?
City Center?
No, it is your mother. What are you trying to do? I don't know any city center. I don't see any city center.
Okay, well, it's on my map. I'm just trying to see if City Center... Okay, that's fine.
It's called Circle K, you mother... The name of the store is Circle K, and there is a ATM machine, which is Bitcoin machine.
Can you speak a little bit louder? Because I don't know if my phone is dying or not.
I can't speak louder because right now I'm trying to get out of this line because you're just wasting my time. So what I will do, I will just empty out your account from your checking, saving and everything, and you can just hang around with that cash, okay?
Huh?
Don't think.
Are you smoking?
Why will I, and what the, what's your problem what I'm doing, and why will I smoke? I'm working over here. Are you trying to?
It sounds like you were taking a puff of something. That's all my ears heard it.
Oh, your ears are very, now you are not deaf to hear all that, right? You're I'll put. So you're driving to the Circle K?
I'm not driving yet. I'm finishing the map, the route I'm going to take on the map.
Do it fast before I put my...
No, my name isn't Harry. My name is Brian Stevenson.
Your name is...
Can you speak a little bit louder? Because I have you on speaker because I'm trying to do the map, but it keeps cutting in and out. I don't know if it's your connection.
Yeah, I know that. I know that.
He hung up on me. He might be rage quitting at this point. I'm gonna have to hide the screen just in case. All right, I'm gonna call him back and see. If not, then it's weird because it's like hanging up. So he's either shut his phone off or something. But this was a win. This was a fun call. This was like a 3.5 hour phone call.
Does it ever feel like you're a marketing professional just speaking into the void? But with LinkedIn ads, you can know you're reaching the right decision makers, a network of 130 million of them, in fact. You can even target buyers by job title, industry, company, seniority, skills, and did I say job title? See how you can avoid the void and reach the right buyers with LinkedIn ads. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a free $250 credit for the next one. Get started at linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
We've hacked a scammer's computer, and they always lie about where they are, and even if they're scamming in the first place. So here's what we're gonna do. While watching their screen, we're gonna text them pictures of the building that they're scamming out of, and even the boss that runs the entire operation. And together we're gonna see what their response is and how they react. But first, let's go over how I got the footage and their location. Sometimes we can gain access to a scam call center just by reversing to one of the scammer's computers. But today we've done something different. We've sent an insider into a scam call center building, and they're gonna give us access to one of their systems and give us video footage from the inside and the outside of the building. Fair warning, this is very risky for our insider to get any kind of footage from inside of a call center. And so they can't just be going around like this, getting these beautiful shots. You know, they're risking their life when they do this. The first thing we have is an image, and you can see some of the desks. Now they have multiple desks lined up, and we also have some video footage from inside of the center that our insider was able to get for us. There's another guy right next to him that's scamming, and they're tucked away inside of a pretty big building. This Amco Tower is in Uttar Pradesh in India, and the shot here of the Amco Tower, it just shows how big the building is, and it reminds me of, you know, the buildings, the BVL complex in Hyderabad, or even the Godrej Genesis Tower in Kolkata. And not every floor, not every office in these buildings has scammers in them. I don't want you guys to think that. But it shows that these scammers, they can rent space and they can tuck themselves away somewhere in one of these really big buildings, use all the facilities, and scam people at nighttime. So our insider has given us access to their computer, and when they're gone, we still have that access and control over the computer. So whenever somebody, the next scammer for instance, gets on that system, we can see everything and we can hear everything. Now that we've gone over the call center itself, I want to break down what you're about to see next. During the day, I will have the connections that I have to scammers open so I can see their screens and I can listen into their conversations. Now, while I was live streaming, there was a lady that was transferred to one of the scammers I was listening to in this call center, and they were running a scam where there are illegal purchases on her account and she needs to go fix the situation immediately.
Thank you for staying on the line. Your call has been transferred to the fraud department.
So I got an alert on my store computer that it was a hack to call Microsoft, and they ran all kinds of scans on the computer, and it says at 4:40 a.m. telephone lines compromised and illegal purchases with cards starting with 3, 6, 5, and 4.
Right, so miss, let me tell you, this is a case of identity theft and your information has been compromised. So first of all, we have to... I'm sorry?
Nothing.
Right, so...
Oh my god.
Miss, listen to me. Let me find out who the person you were speaking, he's a legitimate over there or not, right?
Okay, thank you.
Right, just on the line.
She's very stressed out. She's very stressed out. I want to stop right there and point out that this lady was panicking when she found out that this was a case of identity theft. And a lot of people ask me, what's the number one thing I need to do in order to protect myself? And I will always tell them they need to monitor all of their banking and credit card activity. And I do all of this with Aura, today's sponsor of the video. And it's a really important time to be talking about Aura because hackers may have stolen the social security numbers of all Americans. Over 2.9 billion records were stolen from national public data. These stolen records include full names, addresses, emails, phone numbers, you name it. And members of the hacker group have reportedly released all this information online for free. And I've got Aura and they will alert me anytime that they find any of my information leaked on the dark web so I can go take action. They're gonna let me know really fast whenever someone's trying to access my banking or credit accounts. And on top of that, they have an up to $5 million identity theft insurance in case the worst case scenario happens. They also provide a bunch of other features to keep you safe online, all within a single app. You can go to my link over at aura.com/scammerpayback for a 14-day trial. And Aura, by that time, will probably find if your information has been exposed on the dark web. So protect yourself today, and let's get back into the call between the scammer and the victim. This lady works at a children's consignment shop, and she's only got a few $1,000s in her account. But that doesn't matter to the scammers because they're going to send her to Target anyway to go buy thousands of dollars of gift cards and send it straight to them.
Alright, miss, I just got an update from the higher authorities. The best way to safeguard these funds, what we have to do, first of all, we have to withdraw the cash from the bank, and you have to withdraw $5,000 in the form of cash, right? So that we can secure that money in the form of security badges for next 2 hours. So can you tell me, are you dressed up? Are you about to move?
Well, I mean, I have a store that I have people shopping in.
Alright, so you are in a store right now?
Yeah. Give me just a second.
She's got to lock up the store and leave. Since this lady was already on her way to go get gift cards, I had her direct line and I wanted to get in contact with her by calling her as many times as I could to try to stop the scam.
Are you there?
Right, miss, I'm there. Can you hear me?
Okay, I'm headed to the bank now.
I'm calling her.
I'm sorry, the person you are trying to reach has a voicemail box that has...
Can you hear me?
Right, miss, I'm there.
Someone from Miami, Florida keeps calling me.
You are receiving call from someone?
Someone from Miami, Florida keeps calling.
Yes.
Did I answer it or no?
No, miss, do not answer any calls.
I'm sorry, the person...
You are at the parking lot?
Yeah.
You need to observe inside the branch, if you see any person suspicious, like me asking you many questions, what are you doing and what is the purpose, because he can be the culprit who's helping those hackers, right?
Okay, but why would somebody in my branch be stealing my money? I don't understand that.
Because right now, as I told you, that there are already some cases going on in your local branches. That's why there's an investigation going on.
Okay, so go in now?
Right, you are good to go inside the branch and observe the person if you see anyone suspicious, okay?
Okay.
Alright, well, she's gonna get the money out. Oh, please. Let there be a way to stop this.
I got the money in the back of my car.
Alright, miss. So now, let me tell you what we are going to do to safeguard these funds, alright? Can you name, Target store nearby you?
It's on bill.
Okay, once you get the cash, you have a cash in your handy, right? Now, what you have to do, you have to get a security badges, okay? Target is a government-approved store, right? Where you get these government-approved cards, right? Once you will be reaching there, just give me a shout, then I will be guiding you what we need to do further.
Alright, thank you.
At this point, I really don't know what to do. I've even reached out to my law enforcement contacts, and they don't seem to be available at the moment. So the last thing that I can do, since I have access to the scammer's computer, is I can directly intervene. So I'll actually go into his task manager, and I will kill off the program that he uses to call the victim, and it will disconnect their phone call. Okay, I killed the call.
I'm sorry, the person you are trying to reach has a voice...
Come on, man, pick up the phone now, pick up the phone now, pick up the phone now, pick up the phone now.
Hello?
Miss, can you hear me?
Yes.
Miss, did you hang up on me? We got disconnected.
Hey, she picked up?
Yeah, we got disconnected. I don't know what happened.
I'm in disbelief because no matter how many times I disconnected the call between the scammer and the victim, whenever I call her, she just won't pick up. And as soon as the scammer calls her, she's immediately back on the phone with him. Now, you'll hear that she actually talked with her husband, which was part of my plan from all the hangups and disconnections, and he advised her not to go to Target, not to do anything with money.
Alright, miss, and let me also tell you, like, if you got disconnect anytime, like, you can call me on this secure line, alright, so that I will be answering your call, right?
Right, but my husband doesn't want me to do anything with my money at Target, so I don't know what to do right now, and I'm very stressed out.
She talked to her husband.
I told you, as per the protocols, like, we have to keep this information very confidential, right? And like, if you're trying to hide your, like, if you're sharing your identity or any of this case information with anyone, like, it will become under an act that you're trying to hide your identity, and like, you're sharing the information and you're trying to hide your identity. Is that correct? Like, are you the one?
What are you talking about?
Miss, let me tell you, like, this is a case of federals, and many of the federal authorities are working on it. Like, as I told you, this is a case of hacking, and this is a case of identity theft.
Okay.
That's
what do I do with this money?
Miss,
I'm just going to put my money in Target?
No, miss, let me tell you, like, you are not going to put your money in Target. You are just buying a security badges, like a Target badge.
She now is on her way to Target to go and safeguard her funds, which essentially is just buying the gift cards, scratching the code on the back, and then giving those numbers directly to the scammer so that he can steal all of her money.
Just once reach to the parking lot, and then I will be telling you step by step.
I'm in the parking lot. And it's raining cats and dogs, but I am in the parking lot.
Alright, miss, so you are in the parking lot now. Alright, now just listen to me very carefully. Like, once you will be going inside the store, you have to go for the card area, right?
So I'm going to buy a whole bunch of Target gift cards with this money.
No, miss, like, this is not a gift. Like, you can say as a gift card as well, right? But these are in the form of security badges. These are approved by the government. That's why we are dealing with these cards. Like, these cards are not available at the bank, at the local branches.
The lady is now at Target, and really time is just running out. I've exhausted all options, and I've even called the local Baton Rouge Target to see if I get a manager on the line, but nobody picked up. I can't let this lady lose all the money in her account. I'm calling.
For electronics, press 1. For the guest services desk, press 2. For HR and...
So what you need to do, just take the 12 cards, okay? 13 cards, in 12 you have to upload $390 each, okay? Just keep all the cards in your pocket, okay? And then take out 2 cards, upload the money, $390 each, and take the receipt and keep it in another pocket, okay?
Okay. I know I'm going to the self-checkout with 13 cards, correct?
Right.
Come on, Target! Literally, Target! Do something! Shame on Target, honestly, for not picking up. Like, honestly, I'm really kind of annoyed that Target didn't pick up when I called them. I hate this, honestly, because I've done everything that I can do, and you're just sitting here listening to this lady, like, buy these gift cards over and over, put in cash. You have no other information to stop it. I have nothing else to stop it. I'm doing a little monologue here because there's just nothing else that I can do anymore. You can hear the victim at the self-checkout counter, and even the beeps of her scanning in these gift cards, the beep, beep. Until I heard another voice in the background, and that voice was the voice of the Target manager.
Are you buying gift cards right now?
I am.
Okay, hold up real quick. Okay, so, not an older lady. Hello? I'm just encountering her right now. Okay, she's not an older lady. And so, right now, she's on the phone. And I see the gift cards right now.
Let's go! Okay. Now remember, this was happening on a live stream, and a couple of the Scammer Payback community members had actually been calling the same exact Baton Rouge Target that I was. And one of them was able to get the Target manager on the phone. And this Target manager was able to intervene right away.
I have our Target network Name's Corbin. So, are you on the phone with her? Okay. Give me 1 moment. Can I put you on a brief hold?
Let's go. Ah, that's so good.
Miss, let me tell you, like, do not talk to anyone, as I told you. Can you hear me?
Oh, Corbin got her? Oh my gosh. Let's go, dude. Man, I appreciate that. That's amazing. Brandon called the pharmacy. I just hit 0. So I called and I hit 0, and then I called and hit 2 a couple times. Man, that was exciting. Thanks to the blue team. We definitely sounded the alarm, and that's what this is freaking all about, man. Gosh, that makes me so happy. Thank you so much to the SP community for rallying together.